ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. But the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes.
What happens when a sermon becomes the center of political drama? This is the question on everyone's mind after Bishop Marion Edgar Budde's impassioned address during the National Prayer Service. Her call for mercy for marginalized groups, including immigrants and LGBTQ+ individuals, has created a firestorm of debate, with former President Donald Trump accusing her of turning a sacred event into a political stage. Let's break down the controversy, its implications, and the reactions it has sparked.
There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives.
These were the words that set the stage for the current uproar. Bishop Budde's sermon highlighted the struggles of immigrant families, LGBT+ individuals, and those fearing deportation. Her plea for unity and compassion resonated with many, but struck a nerve with others, particularly Donald Trump. Trump fired back, calling the sermon boring, ungracious, and politically charged. He demanded a public apology from the bishop and accused her of using the pulpit to push a political agenda. The public reaction to this clash has been deeply divided. Supporters of Bishop Budde see her as a courageous leader standing up for the vulnerable, while her critics accuse her of overstepping the boundaries of religious discourse. This was supposed to be a prayer service, not a political rally, one commentator noted. Donald Trump was not silent on the matter. He immediately posted a tweet demanding Bishop's apology. The controversy has reignited an age-old debate. Should religious leaders address political issues? Throughout history, faith leaders have played pivotal roles in social justice movements. Yet in today's polarized climate, even well-meaning messages are often seen through a partisan lens. Defenders of the bishop argue that her sermon was a call for empathy, not politics. Critics, however, see it differently. Trump's demand for an apology has only added fuel to the fire. Bishop Budde has remained steadfast, defending her sermon in various interviews.
But do you think your message is being misconstrued and politicized?
Well, sure. One of the things I caution about is the culture of contempt in which we live that immediately rushes to the worst possible interpretations of what people are saying and to put them in categories such as the ones you've just described.
Adding to the complexity is the growing tension between politics and religion. For some, the pulpit is a sacred space for spiritual guidance. For others, it's a platform for addressing broader societal issues. Bishop Budde's sermon has become a flashpoint in this ongoing debate. Critics argue that her focus on marginalized groups overlooks the complexities of immigration laws and national security concerns. Supporters, however, laud her for humanizing those often vilified in political rhetoric. People should stop going or donating to her church. Cut off the funding. Another went too far, calling the statement racist. She is an absolute fraud, and her comments were racist in nature. As the debate rages on, many are reflecting on Trump's reaction. Some see his comments as justified, arguing that the sermon criticized his policies directly. Others view his demands for an apology as an attempt to stifle dissent. The controversy also highlights the role of the media in amplifying such conflicts. Bishop Budde's interviews on major platforms have drawn both praise and criticism, with some accusing her of using the sermon to seek attention. At its core, this clash underscores a deeper societal divide. The sermon has become more than a call for compassion. It's a reflection of the growing tensions between religious and political spheres. As one observer put it, the balancing act between advocacy and spiritual guidance has never been more challenging. Some were talking against President Trump and didn't want him to be the president of their country.
To President Trump today?
Well, he should. I've given up speaking to President Trump. We need to replace President Trump. We need leadership that will lead us in the ways that this country deserves.
The divide has sparked broader conversations about the relationship between politics and faith. When religious leaders speak up, they tread a fine line between spiritual guidance in political commentary, said a political analyst. The bishop's sermon brought this debate to the forefront. Trump's legacy in the context of this controversy is also being scrutinized. His strong response has reinforced his reputation for addressing criticism head-on, but it has also sparked questions about freedom of speech and the separation of church and state. Faith communities across the country have weighed in, with some expressing solidarity with the bishop's message. However, others within religious institutions argue that the pulpit should remain free of political commentary to avoid alienating congregants. The church's role should be to unite, not divide, remarked a local pastor. One of the pastors joined the news and said that,
I was glad to hear the bishop speak up about something that many Christians and many people of other faiths are thinking about and worried about this at this point.
the dialogue sparked by this sermon is far from over. Whether you see Bishop Buddy as a hero or a provocateur, her words have undeniably brought important issues to the forefront. Meanwhile, social media has become a battlefield for opinions, with hashtags supporting both Trump and the bishop trending simultaneously. Online debates often escalate quickly, reflecting the polarization of the issue. This digital engagement has only magnified the controversy's reach. The incident also highlights the modern political climate's impact on religious leadership. Leaders like Bishop Buddy face the challenge of addressing issues that deeply affect their congregations without being labeled as partisan. Supporters of Bishop Buddy argue that her message resonates beyond the religious context. Many believe her sermon serves as a wake-up call to leaders to address systemic issues affecting millions of Americans. This was not about politics, it was about humanity, remarked a supporter. The sermon also underscores a broader issue: the responsibilities of leaders in addressing systemic inequalities. Critics of Trump argue that his dismissal of such messages further highlights his lack of empathy for marginalized communities. On the other hand, his supporters believe he is standing firm against what they perceive as a weaponization of religious platforms. Religious leaders and their roles in modern governance are under renewed scrutiny. For many congregants, the sermon raises questions about how faith should intersect with societal issues like immigration, LGBTQ+ rights, and economic inequality. These themes are deeply embedded in the American political landscape, creating a complex web of loyalty, beliefs, and advocacy. As the dust settles, the question remains: was the bishop's sermon a courageous call for compassion, or did it cross the line into politics? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that spark meaningful conversations.